Illinois at Indiana, which is a massive game for both of their playoff hopes. You kind of feel like they have to almost win this one to get into the playoffs, assuming they don't knock off one of the bigger teams in the Big Ten, right? They don't go beat Ohio State, and then you can lose this one and win that one. But it just really feels like this is one you have to have. Indiana's favored by 6.5 in this one, as they are the home team. They've not played in one yet. We know a little more about Illinois because they played Duke week 2, and they won pretty soundly there, at least by score margin. Initial thoughts on this game, guys?
I'll go ahead and say it. So I've already watched a ton of Illinois, and then watching Indiana this week, I actually think Indiana's just better and faster. It really feels that way looking at it. The level of competition, like the Duke game, I think is a little bit different. The statement that Duke made is something, but I think they're just better. I think they're faster. I think they will be able to outscore Illinois' defense. I think, for me, the quarterback battle between Mendoza and Altmaier, I think you guys think I would think Altmaier is better. I think Mendoza's better. Right now, I think he's playing better. He's just playing with a lot of confidence. The biggest thing, he's playing with a lot of conviction. He is throwing the ball to throw the damn ball right now. He does not care about making mistakes, and because of that, he is making incredible throws, throwing into tight windows. Altmaier, on the other hand, I think he's just playing smart, taking what is there. That's kind of how his style is. He's not a guy that's going to just try to destroy you by throwing it in tight windows and stuff like that. He's going to take what you give him. I think with the way Mendoza is playing, he's playing with a ton of confidence. And like I said, conviction is the word that I would describe it. The spread surprised me. I think we talked about that on Tuesday or Sunday or whatever it was, that Illinois or Indiana is favored by 6.5, and it was bet down to 5.5. Is that
Yep.
right? That doesn't surprise me. But I think they look better on tape. I think they also they might have better players too. I think Omar Cooper and Elijah Surratt are just better than Hank Beatty and Justin Bowick. I think Mendoza is better, like I said. And then defensively, or not defensively, with the running backs, Indiana's got 3 of them they can go to. They love to go to all 3 of them. Kalen Black, Lee Beebe, and Roman Hemby. And then with Illinois, it's Caden Fegan and Khalil Valentine. But I still kind of think the 3 backs are better than the other 2 that Illinois has. Gabe Jacobs is the best player on the field for Illinois, and he's the best player in the entire going to be the best player in the entire field this weekend. But I think Indiana, they just feel like the better football team right now, although they've played terrible teams.
Their best game is against Old Dominion.
Yes.
The spread is still 6.5. I don't know if that was a typo or if it moved and then moved back over the past couple days, but right now, on the score, it is 6.5. Couple questions, because I was watching and looking at Indiana stats and watching some Indiana highlights. Their 2 wide receivers, Omar Cooper and Elijah Surratt. One thing that kind of jumps out to me, and maybe this doesn't concern you, Omar Cooper leads the team in receiving yards with 299. He has 4 touchdowns.
He had almost all of those.
207 yards of the 299, and all 4 touchdowns came against Indiana State.
Yeah.
Elijah Surratt, 164 yards and 3 touchdowns. All 3 touchdowns came against Kennesaw State. Is there a possibility that this offense is a hot and cold, like one guy's on, another guy's off? If so, are you concerned about them being able to does that concern, like, that jumps out to me as A, they've played weaker competition, and B, they haven't really all dominated that competition. It's just been one guy who pops up. Does that concern you?
I think it's less of a concern.
Okay.
I agree. It's kind of how it goes. Think about A&M, right? Casey Conception was the bigger name in the portal, but Mario Craver's just gone off. And Casey's still been good, but it's just like there's only so much ball to go around, and sometimes it's just how the matchup works out or how skill set works out. It's just your day, and that's just how it goes. Especially for Elijah Surratt, because he was very good last year. I have almost no concern about him.
And I also think if you've seen 2 be at a super productive level in one game, well, now you got a game plan even more for both of them. I think if they were spread out, then maybe you could be able to say, oh, let's take away one guy because the other guy has improved it, that he could just beat us individually. Omar Cooper and Elijah Surratt have proved that they could beat Kennesaw State and Indiana State individually. Will they be able to do that against Illinois? I think it's going to have to be a collection of the two.
Sure.
But like I said in the opening, I just think with the way Mendoza is playing, it feels like they're just the better team. I trust Kirk Cignetti more. They're at home, like all those things going for them. I think it just helps them a ton. I think Indiana's just better right now, and I think overall, as I've clearly showed in my rankings, like Illinois is the better football team. They deserve to be ranked higher, but I think this Saturday Indiana's going to be better.
Fair. I agree with a ton of what you said. I think the defenses are actually what's going to be able to decide this because
Sure.
I do like both of these offenses, and I think both offenses are playing really good ball right now. And it's very conflicting styles defensively. Indiana's going to sit back in zone coverage, kind of give you underneath stuff. So I'm curious if like that kind of plays in Altmaier's hands, right? Of like he's going to be safe with the ball. He's just going to be able to pick apart that zone because I think he's also playing very confident right now in his own way, just like Mendoza, and he's seeing the game really well. But then it's also like, okay, but is that exactly what Indiana wants him to do? Is just take the underneath stuff, take what they give them, and then they can rally and tackle. And then Illinois is going to blitz and play a ton of man coverage. And so can Mendoza hold up, and can the offensive line hold up against that is the real question for me. And I don't know the answer to that, right? But it is where I think the game is going to be won is which defense can step up and get stops and confuse and slow down the opposing offense.
Did you mention that they'll be playing that man defense without one of their best cornerbacks? Did y'all talk about that? Xavier Scott
No.
It's great
out
to
for the
bring up.
game. That's concerning. You talk about how they're going to play man defense. If you're without one of your best corners, that becomes a lot harder.
He is their best corner. He's their best man corner.
Best corner.
He will get drafted, barring major fall off. He's projected to get drafted right now. So that's a great point to bring up.
Another just weird little fact, they both average exactly 41.5 points per game. I found that while doing my research. They hold opponents, Illinois, to 9.5 points per game, Indiana 11.5. So just a funny little thing I found there. Do we want to go ahead and get into the picks, or we have more?
Yeah, let's do it. I don't really have much more to say, so I can make my pick first. It's so hard for me to pick this one because I do like both of these teams, and we have seen a little more from Illinois and less from Indiana, but I have just kind of learned to trust Coach Sig at this point to win games like this, to win the games against teams of equal or similar caliber. But I am going to take Illinois to cover here. I think it'll be a close game. I don't feel great about that pick, but I think Luke Altmaier is going to have a day against the Indiana defense. So give me Illinois to cover.
I was coming into this. I thought that it was going to be Illinois was the easiest pick I ever made. I had the exact same reaction to JP. Indiana minus 6.5 seemed a little extreme, kind of crazy. JP, you've done a great job of trying to talk me into taking Indiana, but I'm still going to take Illinois. I still
To
just
win?
to cover. I'm not going to pick them to win.
Okay.
To cover. Not going to pick them to win because there are no bonus points in our pick 'em for picking to win and being right or wrong. So I would just pick them to cover.
But there's also no losing points.
Yeah.
If you
I'll pick them
a
to win then.
Okay.
Screw it. I'll pick them to win. Pick them to win and cover. I do just think that Illinois is going to go out and have a day offensively. I would love to see Indiana have a great game as well. I love Indiana. I like Coach Sig. I loved them last year. Was very happy they made it into the playoffs. Because winning is important even if you don't have like a tough schedule. So yeah, I will pick Illinois to win and cover and win.
Winning is important even if you don't have a tough schedule. However, don't go out of your way to make your bad schedule weaker.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm a L on that part for them in terms of like canceling the UVA game and stuff like that.
That was
down the
crazy.
line.
I just want to go on a quick like tangent to the last year's schedule and people dogging on it. If you look at their schedule in the preseason, there were a lot of teams that regressed that we didn't necessarily like. I think they played Washington and Michigan, who had just played for the national championship.
Yes.
And so, like, hindsight 2020, they had an easy schedule. Going into it, they did not, which is one of the things that, like, kind of bothered me when everyone was complaining about their schedule is that we didn't know that these two teams that just played for national championship were going to go 6-6 and 8-4 or whatever. The out-of-conference stuff is on them. Conference stuff is not. That's all I wanted to say real quick.
Completely agree. That's why I made my point of, like, you play the schedule, you can.
Yep.
but at least try to make your schedule tough. If it doesn't end up being tough, that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yep.
So,
JP?
I think it's more so a Big Ten problem. Just the fact that,
sure,
I mean, the bottom half of the league
the league's too big for its own
just
good.
doesn't care.
Yeah,
They clearly just don't care about football.
we need promotion relegation in the Big Ten. I think.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
In the SEC, like, I think the only school that doesn't care about football
Kentucky?
is Kentucky.
Yeah.
And yet they still pay their coach $10 million. So he gets paid $10 million to go 7-5 or 5-7 or whatever, and no one ever says a peep because they got the basketball program there. Speaking of basketball, I mean, this is one of the most iconic basketball like rivalries in the sport. This is just the 4th time they've played in football this decade, which is it's crazy to think about that.
Wait, over the past 10 years or this decade?
Over the past 10 years, I should
Okay,
say.
that makes
in
a lot more sense.
decade.
Yes, that makes a lot more sense.
This is just the 4th time they've played. Illinois dominates the series 46-26 right now. I think Indiana's the better team. When it comes down to it, I think the quarterback play makes a difference. I think both quarterbacks will play fine. But Fernando Mendoza has shown the ability to use his legs. I think he uses his legs to pick up a few key 3rd or 4th downs. I think the home field advantage plays an effect. I got Indiana winning, but I have Illinois covering. This feels like a 28-24, 24-21 type of game.
Sure.
I think it's going to be really, really good. It sucks it's on NBC because they just don't give a shit about producing a good television product.
Shout out Noah Eagle, man.
Point blank. That was a brutal watch last week with A&M Notre Dame. If that was on ABC, that game would have been maybe that might have been the best game of the year.
Yeah, it would have been.
Ironically.
It would have been an all-timer, and yeah, that does suck. I don't want to think about that actually.
Yeah.